Jai Sri Ram, friends. Welcome to Bharat Marg.
Pleasure,
Welcome,
Ramji.
Vinay ji. Thank you for joining us, Ravi ji. Ravi ji is a financial expert and also the insurance expert. Very, very happy to have you here. We have Priti ji, who expertise in mortgage and mortgage industry in both commercial as well as residential. So we are very, very, and in a way, Vinay ji is also connected with that. So yeah, anyway, we will talk about these things. There are no better people to talk about this than the people what we have for sure. Okay. So now the interest rate is going up again or gone up again. We will know about it more. Just stick around. But the subject what we have is more Canadians are becoming homeless and bankrupt. Okay, record high interest rate. Will the banks go belly up next? Okay, is the question what we have. And also, we will know more about it. Let's talk to the experts. And before going further, friends, please make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share the video with as many people as you can. And if you have any questions, friends, if you have any questions, please do post it here so that we can respond to you. Pranam ji, Jai Sri Ram. Okay, and let's move on. And also, please make sure to subscribe the video and also subscribe the channel Bharat Marg and press the notification bell to make sure you can stay connected as we go live. Anytime you get informed with the title so that you can come in and join and participate, ask any questions you have, put your input also, okay, and become the part of the conversation. Okay, it's incredible. Vinay ji, again, welcome to all and welcome to all the viewers. And Vinay ji, what do you see where it's keep going up the interest rate? The interest rate used to be 1.25% and things like that. I remember getting 1% minus the prime rate once upon a time.
Yeah.
Prime minus one, they used to say, got a good deal,
Mhm.
got a prime minus one, and it used to come to like 1.5%. Now what, 7% we are approaching? Please take off, Vinayji. What do you see?
Yeah. Thank you, Ji. So the Bank of Canada today again announced great announcement. Actually, I was like so overwhelmed when I heard the announcement coming from the our uh, His Excellency Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. Great man, actually. I mean, he says that all our agencies, all our banks, all over Bank of Canada, all the federal agencies, they're all independent. They all take their own decisions. We don't interfere in any of their work. But that's a piece of loaded crap. That's all I can say. So, anyways, Bank of Canada today announced another 0.25% hike. So that brings the interest rate to the prime rate to 5%. But banks, like when Bank of Canada is different from banks, like when we are talking the like Scotiabank or TD Bank or Bank of Montreal or any of those, right? They have their own independent, they set their own independent prime rates. So they go about 0.25% more. Um, and sometimes they even go 0.5% more. So it's about, I think, 5.25% some of the banks are setting their prime rates at based on this new increase as of today. Now, how does this impact the common man? Fantastic question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Ontario. Ontario is pretty much in a situation where everybody is. I won't say everybody. A good number of people, a good size of people, are having trouble paying their monthly mortgage, especially
Mm-hmm.
those who are on variable mortgage, because the variable mortgage is basically what increases their monthly payments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, a person is making on an average $5,000 a month. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
net. Net. I'm talking net. That's his family income. Okay. So now, a person who is paying mortgage, let's say his mortgage was like he's got a $800,000 home, and he was paying $2,000 a month. Now his mortgage payment has gone up to $3,000 a month. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
from 2,000 to 3,000, $1,000 a month more. Okay,
Wow.
where is the disposable income for this man? Because he is pretty much on a paycheck to paycheck. Okay, Now, imagine the three
If he is
thousand
lucky.
if he's lucky. Now he had $3,000 as his disposable income to cover his insurance, to cover his car, to cover his car payments, to cover his gas, to cover his groceries, to cover his entertainment, to cover his bunch of other things, utility bills, and so on and so forth, right? But now this man is struggling because $1,000 is already taken away from his amount. Like he's got only $2,000 left. So where is this $2,000 plus the extra money that he needs to cover all his other payments coming from? Government doesn't think about it because they don't care. What they're trying to do is, this is the worst thing that can happen. I'll give you an analogy. Okay, a very
Yeah,
simple analogy.
I'll come back to you. Just
Yeah.
hold on. I'll come back
Mhm.
to you. I'll take everybody's opinion on it in a quick minute, okay? And I'll
Okay.
come back to you because I have more questions for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Preeti ji, what do you say? Today the bank has increased the prime rate again by 0.25%. What do you say? Means you are in mortgage industry. Do you see many people giving up and walking away from the home? I know the business owners, a lot of them do now.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely, absolutely. This is something, like that is actually going to create so much issues for people in general, because almost in a month, I am in a legal field. So in a month, the lawyers who are doing power of sale, initially, like previously, it was like one or two files in a month, for
mhm.
power of sale. But nowadays, power of sale is almost 15, 10 to 15 average files every month is coming. Average 10 to 15 files for a power of sale every month.
Well,
That
we say us in a language like a person like me can understand. What does it mean?
power of
Power,
sale, okay, power of sale is something wherein a person cannot afford to pay their mortgages, right?
like
So
foreclosure.
foreclosure, yes, that is power of
Okay, that's
sale.
what it is. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so foreclosure, because the basically the rate of interest has gone up and up and up, and rightly Vinay ji just said, like the way it is, like it has increased the payments like $1,000 a month. Come on, who can afford $1,000 a month mortgage payment? Then from where they will eat, where they will have their car payments, where they will have their car insurance payment and groceries and overall general expenses of a household, right? So
Mhm.
it becomes so difficult. Like if somebody is making $5,000, I would say, even if somebody is making, say for example, $80,000 a year, even then it is very
No,
difficult
no,
for them.
Preeti ji, 80,000 is very rare people in Canada make
No, I
80,000.
know, I know
Yeah.
that. But even if somebody is making 80,000 on paper, are they going to get 80,000 in their hands after the taxes? They get very less number. You know that, right? So even if somebody is making 80,000 on paper, their actual income could be somewhere around 55,000, right? Because after taxes, so basically they are not getting anything like that. So everybody, like $5,000 after taxes, then also issue. But most people have $5,000 before taxes. 50, 60,000 is an average income.
And that too is the upper middle class. You
Yes,
talk about lower middle class.
lower middle class, forget about them.
Yeah, it is like $2,000, two
Yes,
to $3,000
yes,
income per month could be.
yes,
Is that
and
right, Raviji? Do you agree with me on that $2,000 to $3,000 at an average? What do you say, Preeti ji?
yeah, so basically, like it is a very, like a very high number that people have to pay for mortgage payments. And another thing, like suppose if you do not even own a house, and if you
Mhm.
are renting a property, come on, rents have gone up. Because see, if I have a basement, and if my mortgage goes up by $1,000, so definitely I'm going to increase my rent for the basement. Or if I have another property, I'm going to increase the rent for that property. So basically what has happened, it is a ripple effect everywhere. It's not just something like it's just the mortgage has increased. No, it's going up everywhere because the rent is increased. Household expenses have gone up because like after COVID, everybody has increased their prices. Even the groceries, like normal groceries, which was like a per person previously, it was about $125 to $150, right? That was a normal thing. Nowadays it has gone up to almost 175 to $200 per person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are absolutely right because I, being a vegetarian, I
Yeah,
used to see vegetables for 99 cents per
yes,
LB. Nowadays, I don't see anything less than 2.99.
exactly. So the point here is everything is like every price is increased, every mortgage rates are increasing. So where what options we are left with? And
Okay.
it's really difficult for an average person.
Let me come back to you, Priti ji, on this. Let me take opinion from Ravi ji. Ravi ji, so what is really happening? I see a lot of people walking away from the shops. See, there are two kind of problem here. I want you to you are able to hear me, Ravi ji.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
able to hear me. Yeah.
I mean,
So let me say you two kind of problems. I'm also hearing the banks are going belly up because many of them have lower than 5% interest rate in the fixed what do you call that fixed and variable, right? In the fixed they have less than 5% income, so banks are going belly up very soon, they say. And on the other hand, some many people who have been in the fixed and coming to the variable mortgage, they are getting out of a 2% mortgage to all of a sudden to 6%, 7% mortgage. Where all these things going to stop?
well, let's look at it from central bank point of view. They want the policy rate at 5%, where they feel the inflation can come back to the 2% mark that they're trying to get to. Of course, it will take time, but what happens in between? Because where we are today, this is the highest level since 2001. Imagine your mortgage going from 1.82 to the prime, which is now over 8%, or which will go over 8% with this increase. So the bank at which the point at which bank will lend you money will be over 7.5. I'm sure Preeti ji can tell us what is the current going rate after this 0.25% increase. And
But
people
you had to
use,
be very thankful, Raviji. They said they are going to increase by 50 points, but they didn't. So you
yeah,
had to be thankful to our prime minister.
but look at the speed. Look at the speed. Did people get any time to adjust to this environment? As Preeti ji said, she has so many foreclosure files. Now, I will quote something here from a report on research by a real estate company called Urbanation, and this is what they are saying, that for a 2,500 single room occupancy in Toronto, you need to be making an average $100,000 to afford that.
Means
Like where,
$2,500 to pay. To pay
like
$2,500
yes,
per
to
month.
pay $2,500. So where are we going with that? And as per the Ipsos research for the global news, 7 in 10 Canadians worry about the increasing interest rates, and and not only that, you if you see the focus inflation rate and the actual inflation rate, there is a huge divergence there. The focus interest rate that they talk about is
Mhm.
okay, we are down to 3.5%, but when you go to the grocery, that inflation is already at 9%.
Right.
And how do you address that?
Nowadays, if you get a
Oh,
vegetable for 99 cents,
yeah,
it's like a deal you
yeah,
got.
yeah. Rate increase can only be sustained if supply and demand both are balanced. Now, what's
Right.
happening here is by increasing the rates, the bank is trying to curtail the demand, but there's nothing, no work done on the supply side.
But let me say you are in the insurance industry also. Let me ask you this question. People may be having luxury cars. isn't it? Leasing and other things. So how do you find in the insurance industry
You
the
see,
effect of this?
like every other industry, insurance industry is also going through the inflationary factor. They have to sustain talent. They have to sustain the company. They have to sustain a reasonable level of cushioning to meet any emergency needs. And as a result of that, they are forced to increase their rates. So they are increasing their rates. They are definitely increasing their rates because if you see the latest research from the construction industry, the cost of construction is up 50% almost. So since insurance industry is so strongly intertwined with construction and other economic activity, they have to also keep pace.
Ravi, let me ask you a quick question. I'll come back to you after this, right? Do you see a lot of people giving up the luxury cars and moving to ordinary car? How do you see in your industry? Talk to
Well,
us about
in my industry, the luxury car segment, uh, I would still say that more and more people, if they had three cars, they are trying to come down to two, and if they were on two, they are trying to make do with one car. So
it.
people are trying to adjust their budgets to the increasing mortgage, which is the current scenario. So that's what's happening. I don't have specific data for luxury cars as such.
No, it means people are downgrading. That's what
Yes,
essentially you are
yes,
saying. That's
yes.
for sure.
That's
Okay.
definitely
Let
there.
me come back to you.
Definitely
Let me
there,
come back.
and the level of attrition in terms of changing your insurance company is also gone up because now people are hunting for rates.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me go to Vinayji. Vinayji, you cannot complain. You have to understand. Here in Canada, our Prime Minister is just handing over grocery discount, grocery rebate, and also carbon tax rebate. So many rebates he is handing over. Then why do you complain? Is that not neutral? It means I'm not joking here. I'm serious about it.
No, no, I understand. I mean, this is a nice, like it's called double-edged sword, right? That's what you're trying to do to me. You're kind of putting the dangling a carrot right in front of me and saying, "Hey, listen, your prime minister is offering you all this kind of good stuff, goodies, right? They call them goodies." And now you're saying that, why am I complaining about the interest rate hike? Okay, I'll give you an analogy. What I started
Mhm.
off, right? So you have a person with diabetes, right? Now, the analogy is here: the person is craving for sugar because he needs sugar, but
Mhm.
doctors have told him, "Hey, buddy, you already have high blood sugar, and you got to be a little more." He's probably going into something like a type 2 or whatever diabetes, right? So now if the doctor tells him, "Hey, you have diabetes, so why don't you take more sugar?" This is exactly what's happening to us. We already are sinking. Now they're sinking us more by adding more interest rates, and that's the kind of the correlation there, right? So basically, what I'm saying is like your let's say if you're a student, you borrowed money and you graduated a year ago. Okay,
Mhm.
you're now looking for a job, and I have many friends who are in the IT industry, and they're struggling to find a job, and they're working
Mhm.
in Walmart and Home Depot and those kind of menial jobs, I should say, labor jobs, right?
Mhm.
So now this buddy is actually went to University of Ottawa, and he has a huge student loan, but his interest rate has gone up. Now
Mhm.
this boy, he's unable to sustain, and he's talking about something very drastic. Like he's saying that I cannot live in this country and I cannot live at all. Either I
Mhm.
have to either commit suicide or move to another country, or don't know what's going to happen to me because I just can't pay because I've just cleared my I mean like finished my exams and stuff. I got my university degree last year. Now I got to start paying loans. So, and and this is the unfortunate part of the student loans. Now, for a common man, like what we all talked about, they are unable to afford the mortgage because prices have gone up. Now, let's talk about supply and demand, right? Supply and demand is a very crucial thing that maybe Trudeau doesn't understand economics. Okay. And I'm not going to say that I'm an economics pundit or whatever, but as a common man, a person who went to university, who has some basic education, I can tell you what
Come on,
economics.
he also was a drama teacher. You cannot put him down.
No, 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 of course. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He was a
No, I
drama
mean,
teacher.
serious.
Maybe he
Please.
should have gone into Hollywood.
This is
Right?
unfair,
We don't
okay?
It
need
shows up. It
Yeah.
shows up that he was a drama teacher.
that.
It
Yeah,
shows up
exactly.
in his
He's
every
a drama
gesture.
teacher.
Okay.
Very, very well, read and very
Yeah,
well
but don't
educated.
talk after that what happened. Okay?
Yeah,
Please stop right there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stop right there. Okay.
Hmm.
We have
So,
one place we have a joker, one place we have a drama teacher, and all these issues.
yeah, for sure. So supply and demand, the way it works, I mean, inflation is a very simple thing, right? When the demand, when the supply is more, and demand is kind of getting there, so that's when things swing back the other way. But now what has happened is because of that, the people are buying. They have more buying power. That's basically what has happened, and as a result, the inflation went up. Okay, but that's not a bad thing for economics because when people have the buying power and they can buy, which is great. But now, guess what? It's gone the other way around. Now people don't have the buying power anymore, and this is what he's trying to create an artificial kind of a
No,
thing around to bring the inflation rate down.
absolutely. Let me ask you one last question, then I'll move to Preeti ji on the subject. But you are saying people don't have buying power, but Bank of Canada says we can still increase the rate because it has to go up. The inflation will get controlled and it will be all rosy life for the Canadians. That's why we are increasing the rate.
And
What do you say about it? And let's move
that's
on.
exactly what I'm saying. That I don't know where these guys are getting their coaching from and which economist is giving them the coaching. But this is a totally screwed up way of looking at things, right? I mean, you got to look at how people can sustain. Number one, if you're a true government who wants to do something for the government, go to the place, the source where the prices are going up. Where is the price going up? They had a meeting with the Loblaw CEO, and they brought him in for a parliamentary committee meeting, and they basically asked him a few questions. Okay, they said, "Hey, Loblaw CEO, what can you do to bring the price down?" He said, "Oh, look, man, I'm doing my best, but unfortunately, this is the best I can do." But guess what? Loblaw's profits have quadrupled. If you look at it, quadrupled in the last 10 years. What does that tell you? They're making huge money, tons of money, but they're not giving that away to the people because this is their shareholder money. The CEOs want to make money. They want to make their bonuses and stuff like that. So they're screwing the people royally, right, Royally?
Okay, let me go to Preeti ji. Preeti ji, same question to you. That you are a mother and you are an expert on the industry. Let me ask you both the ways to you. Okay, you got grocery rebate. Millions and millions of dollar has been paid back to the Canadians, and also in terms of green energy thing or carbon tax thing, many rebates are being handed over. Then why do you complain?
No. That
This equalizes the
first of
increase, don't
all,
it?
okay. First of all, not every Canadian is eligible for those type of rebates. First thing, okay. So that is going to a particular segment, and that particular segment may or may not be actually aware of what they are getting. Okay, those people who are aware of what they are getting, they are not eligible, and those who are eligible, they are not aware of it. Okay, so those are very different things. One thing, and secondly, like you are increasing the price by 100 and you are giving a rebate of $1 or $2. That doesn't work. That actually doesn't help anyone. And this grocery rebate, there are so many conditions to be eligible for that. Not you and me, everybody is going to get it. No, it's not like that. It's not a general thing that you doesn't matter, but you will get it. No, there are eligibility criteria. So it's not possible that everybody will get it. Yeah, it looks good when you say that we are giving grocery rebate, but actually, who is getting it? A very minimal percentage will get it, because on paper your eligible income could be little higher than the eligible criteria. So you not everybody will get it, first of all. And secondly, like the way it is going on, I must disclose something here, because I am in the law field. I know what is happening here. There are people who have purchased the houses, or maybe condominiums or whatever, right? The real estate, basically. There are many people who do not become eligible for mortgages because of the higher rates and other things, because they have strict guidelines for eligibility to for the mortgages now. So people are not being eligible, and you know what? They are forfeiting their deposits. I have seen people forfeiting their deposits and going away from the closings. They do not want to close. There are many people who are doing it, and then there is a second segment wherein there are many people who do not become eligible and they do not want to let go the house or whatever they have purchased. So they go to the private lenders. And do you know how much the private lenders are
That is
charging?
second mortgage, you mean to say?
Yes, not second mortgage. Private lenders, initially it was a second mortgage like a few years before, but now many people are going for the first mortgage to the private lenders, because they are not eligible to get a mortgage from the bank. Okay, so they go to the private lenders, and the private lenders are charging humongous percent. I mean,
They
I
take a risk. They
no,
take a high risk.
no, they take a high risk, but what percentage do you think? I have seen somebody charging 24%.
Oh,
Wow, like a credit card.
Yes, 24%, 20%. Like those are the high rate. Of course, they are taking risk, and of course, I mean, they can charge little higher than the banks. But my point here is not about the lender's perspective. My point here is about the common man who are forced to go to the private lenders and to pay higher interest rate. Average lowest, even the lowest, if you see the private lenders, they will charge 12% interest. That is the lowest possible. So where these people can go? And I completely agree. You know what, the young boys, when I talk to the young generation who just graduated or are about to graduate, they are telling me, you know what, we can never afford a house in this country. Just imagine, how will they afford a house? Forget about house. They are telling me it is even impossible for them to afford a
Mhm.
one bedroom condominium. One bedroom condominium, because they have just started up. They still have their student loan to be paid, right? They still have their own expenses. They still have to get married. They still have to create a family. How will how all this will happen? They are really really I definitely see like 5 years from now, the young generation, they will all be renting. They will all be renting, because they do not have down payment money. So
Absolutely.
and
But
they do not have mortgage payment money as well.
well, I'll ask you one last question, then I'll move to Raviji on that. Okay, so many homes are foreclosing. Okay,
Yes.
so what happens to the bank? Are they ready to go belly up maybe a year two from now? Because what they are going to do with these homes?
No, I mean, they see what happens. Power sale, when the power sale happens, the banks are selling that properties.
Yeah,
Banks are not keeping those
you need to have a purchaser qualified also, right?
No, but of course, see, the problem is not everybody is ineligible, right? There are many people there are people who move with multiple properties. People have 5, 10 properties. So there are, see, the problem here. I think just Vinayji was asking, like, I don't know who they consult about the economics. So they consult the Loblaws owner about the economics. Then what will their feedback be? They should consult a very average income person, lower income person. Then they will get the real current scenario. If I'm going to a Loblaws owner, what feedback he is going to give me? No, it
Absolutely.
is absolutely useless feedback he is going to give me. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that
Uh,
doesn't matter, right? So
let me go to Raviji. Raviji, you have a son, young man, who is just getting started with the life and moving on. So, say me from the youngster point of view. Okay, how do they
See,
see it? What Preeti ji says they cannot afford a home. How do you see it?
look, I would echo what Priti ji and what Vinay ji and I would just echo that. The young people definitely feel that housing is out of their reach, and it will take them many years and to shore up savings for the down payment, unless, of course, they come across some windfall somewhere. And
Lottery?
yeah, that's possible. And also what do see that look here, the government must try to find ways to reduce the pain, and one of the things they could actually do immediately, and that step actually affects everything else, is put the carbon tax on hold for at least 2 years. Now imagine the effect that will have, because everything moves in today's words, right from your cabbage to your farm to your plate to everything else, and fuel cost is a big substantial part of the whole game. So I would say he should seriously think about freezing the further raises by the central bank, or rein the central bank in, and also think about this carbon tax, which is almost like 30 to 35 or 40 cents per liter,
Hmm.
and put that on the back burner for 2 years. You should be encouraging, if you want to encourage green energy, encourage solar panels on the new housing.
Right.
We have to, the government needs to think out of the box as to how to lessen the pain that people are going through. I know a young couple who are just on the verge of losing their home.
Yep.
It's very hard, although husband and wife are suitably employed with generating income over 180K, and still
Wow.
they are in that dire condition.
Absolutely. That is mind blowing. Okay.
So
Vinay ji.
imagine where we are going with this, and
Absolutely.
also look at the new builds. The new builds are not coming at a rapid pace, because every builder knows that I may build houses, but who will buy? How many people will qualify? So it's creating a huge drag effect on the entire economy and the system. And this housing situation, I can tell you, it's going to go from bad to worse.
Absolutely. But that's a bad news. But anyway, I'll go for my final question. We are already over the time. We will just take a minute if we can answer everybody. Right. First, I'll start with the Vinayji. Vinayji, say me, uh, what will happen now? Who you will pin the blame to? Number one. Number two, what happens if more people walk away from their home, and how the banks will handle it? Okay, and irrespective of all the housing mess, everything, okay, still the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's approval rating is not as bad. He can win again. What do you see in that? And final
Let him
question, that's
let
it.
him try going in for elections now. He'll be screwed. Today, if he goes for elections, you'll see what happens. But anyways, that's a different topic for another day. Going back to your first question, I'm like, let's talk about your first question was, you had two questions there, right? What was your first question again? Sorry.
More people walk away from their homes and businesses. So what
Mhm.
happens? How many the banks can tolerate? You know, when they will go belly up.
So I'm going to give you an example. So I'm going back to the 1980s when Lehman Brothers went belly up. Okay.
Mhm.
So how did Lehman Brothers go belly up? So basically, that was the opposite effect. Okay. So the interest rates had fallen.
Some
Lots of
sound is coming from someone. Can you please put yourself, if you're not talking, can you put yourself in mute, please?
Yeah,
Yeah,
my apologies.
yeah, no worries. Yeah.
so they went belly up because it was the opposite effect. The interest rates were low, and these guys showed, you know, stuff on the books that they owned a lot more than they owed, but in reality they owed a lot more than they owned. Okay. So that really screwed them up, and they, you know, what impacted, what how it affected the whole industry, right? So same thing, it's now the other side of the spectrum we are in, and this can again drastically affect a lot of banks. But right now, as of today, banks are making significant amount of money. Significant, they're making a killing out of this interest rate hike. Okay. And likewise, the petroleum companies, they're blaming Ukraine war, they're blaming all kinds of stuff for prices to go up, and you know,
Mhm.
it's a blame game. But end of the day, they're making huge profits. Now the grocery companies, they're making huge profits. Logistics companies, they're by, you know, blaming the petroleum hike, the gas rate hike, and whatever, right? So that they're blaming those guys. So this is impacting, it's like a cascade, right? One is affecting, but everybody, end of the day, these businesses are making, these are the conglomerates, not the small businesses. I'm talking about the conglomerates that are making huge amount of money. And but when it comes down to the small businesses, the problem is they have to sell, like a convenience store guy who used to sell, let's say, pound of bananas for a buck, right? As opposed to a grocery store, you could get it for like 59 cents. He sells it for a buck because obviously he has to make his money. But now he's selling it for a lot more because now, you know. So what do people do? They say, oh, you know what? I'm going to go to the grocery store. Why should I go to the convenience store? Now the small businesses are getting screwed, and likewise the businesses, like they sorry the common man is getting screwed. So what's the solution for all of this? I mean, like, end of the day, the solution is the government needs to be, woken up from this stupor. They're basically in some kind of a stupor, right? And they've got to be woken up, and they've got to have a pretty hard on thing, discussions with likes of Alablas, Petro Canada, like all the petroleum companies, the gas companies, the logistics companies, who are actually artificially inflating this, their prices because they're blaming either Ukraine war or something else. So if the government doesn't do that, too bad.
Let's go to Priti ji. It says Canada is a land of homelessness. Many people are getting homeless, and many people are walking away from their homes and businesses, as you rightly said. So will it put pressure on the bank? What is going to be the next when more people are on the road? How the government is going to manage?
See, this
And
government.
also, there is a lot of theft in the grocery shop. Lot of theft. People are desperate for food.
See, basically, what is happening with all these effects? The richer become rich, all they are already rich, but they are becoming richer, and the poor becomes poorer. So that is exactly what is happening, because an average person is not able to afford their two times meal. Where opposed to that, a owner of Loblaws or Walmart or somebody like him is making three times profit. So where you can find a solution? The solution is that the government should come to the front, and they must do something very strictly and strongly, because just blaming, I can blame you and you can blame Vinay can blame Ravi ji. So that's the game they are playing. So this is no game, this is normal average person's life, and it's that everyday food is getting affected. People are on the streets, people are like they are going homeless. If you see, previously in at least in Brampton, Mississauga, you were not seeing many homeless people begging on the road, but now you can see, like every nooked, you like every other street crossroads, you can see them. So this
Yeah.
is something very unusual. You don't feel like you are in Canada. You feel like you are in a third world country. So where is that Canada status is? There is no Canada status anymore because people are becoming homeless and they are protesting with the homeless boards. So
Absolutely.
government has to take strict actions, and first of all, they need to know what they can do. I probably
Absolutely.
don't think the government
Absolutely.
knows anything.
Absolutely. Raviji, your last word. We are done.
So my
1 minute
last
time.
word is that government still has many options. They should exercise those options and get relief to the last man standing on the street. Look at the statistics in Brampton and Mississauga, the break-ins, the car thefts. What do they indicate? They indicate that there is something really bad happening, and for government to move, needs to move swiftly, needs to move fast and take a corrective measure so that the relief goes to the last person. That 100 $200 checks are not going to cut it.
You want more?
Government, and especially the prime minister, whoever is and would be, should go to India and learn a lesson from Modi ji.
Oh my God. You just don't say that. Jagmeet Singh may not like it. He has to support the government. But anyway, looking forward to hope it was a it is a very interesting discussion. But my heart goes out for the people who are on the road, and especially many young people on the road. It is it is creating a dangerous scenario out there. Lot of stealing in the grocery shops. They are beefing up, the grocery shops are beefing up the security personnels to make sure that they don't get robbed, and many things are happening. Let's see how the solution is going to come, when the good day is going to come. This is all about Canada today, and we will see you in the next video. Till then, Jai Sri Ram to
Thank you,
every
Deepak.
Jai
panelist,
Shri
and Jai
Ram,
Sri
Jai
Ram
Shri
to all
Ram.
the
Thank you
viewers.
for hosting, Dilepanji.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Appreciate it highly. See you in the next video. Till then,
And
Jai
thank
Sri
you to
Ram.
my
Jai Shri Ram.
fellow panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you.